you have new information you'd like to provide, I think that would be helpful to the committee. I've learned a lot over the last 3 days, and I think the whole committee has, and that's the reason for this for this hearing. So go ahead, sir. Introduce yourself for the record.
My name is Ray Woodledge. I'm from Duluth, Minnesota. I'm a 10-year active Army veteran with 2 combat tours in Iraq and Kosovo. I was a primary marksmanship instructor for Charlie Company 135 Armored Battalion in Baumholder, Germany, as well as a primary marksmanship instructor for 164 Armored Battalion in Fort Stewart, Georgia. I supervised the training of hundreds of soldiers firing tens of thousands of rounds and a personally qualified expert on military handguns, rifles, machine guns, and tank weapons. I'm here today to address the issue of so-called high-capacity magazines. What I'm about to tell you may shock some of my pro-gun friends, but it is true that high-capacity magazines can increase the lethality of a weapon system. That is the very reason that the military uses them. Now, it would be very easy to put aside all critical thinking and end the discussion right there. Have a vote, pass the bill, and ban these indiscriminate killing machines. However, we don't ban cars that go faster than 55 miles an hour because we intrinsically know that there's more to it. So let me tell you the rest of the story. The increased lethality provided by high-capacity magazines comes from eliminating or postponing a 1/2 second magazine change during an intense, close-quarters firefight against a comparably armed opposing force. Typically, in the military, that would be an insurgent with an AK-47, for example. What I'm talking about is time and how it's relative to the situation. That 1/2 second matters a whole lot when clearing a house in Iraq or defending your home from armed invaders, because the total time frame we're talking about is just a few seconds, 20 to 30 at the most. But mass shootings are measured in minutes, not seconds, unfortunately, and there is rarely a comparably armed opposing force. The Aurora, Colorado shootings lasted 7 to 10 minutes. The Sandy Hook shooting lasted 15 minutes. And the shootings at Virginia Tech lasted over 2 hours. In fact, Sandy Hook shooting is particularly important because Ms. Martens was incorrect. Adam Lanza only had one 30-round magazine, according to the Connecticut State Patrol website. He reloaded that magazine several times by hand, sometimes only loading a few rounds at a time. He would continue to shoot and then reload a few more rounds. So how many lives would a 1/2 second magazine change have saved when the shooter was taking several seconds at a time to reload a single magazine by hand? Quite simply, the answer is probably 0. A single, unopposed aggressor in a target-rich environment is going to continue shooting until he is stopped or until he runs out of ammo. The 1/2 second it takes to change a magazine, or the 45 seconds it takes to reload a single magazine over and over again, would not have made any difference in these tragedies. If you could step away from the emotion of the discussion for 1 second, you will see that when police are several minutes away, a 1/2 second magazine change still only takes 1/2 second. This legislation amounts to nothing more than a knee-jerk response to tragic events aimed at giving an emotionally distraught public a sacrificial lamb in the form of an inanimate object. In fact, Joe Biden himself was recently caught on camera saying that none of these laws are going to prevent mass shootings or save lives. Finally, Joe and I agree on something. It makes one wonder why just a few weeks ago he was stumping for gun control while using children as props. Could it be political showmanship? Could he be following the advice of Rahm Emanuel and not letting a good crisis go to waste? Joe understands that none of these laws are going to miraculously turn bad men into good men. These laws will only serve to turn good, law-abiding citizens like myself and the 2 million other Minnesotans who own firearms, most of them with magazines larger than 7 to 10 rounds, into felons. I urge you to look beyond the political showmanship, look beyond the emotional rants, and I urge you not to pass laws that will turn me into felons for no other reason than political gain. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. No, please. Please, if we can just, we'll get through the evening and everyone will get an opportunity if we can just keep it calm in here. Please introduce yourself for the record.